Bob Bockelman. It's, when is it? It's middle of May, almost the middle of May, just past Mother's Day 2010. And we appreciate y'all coming back to see us. As you know, we're here, try to be here every week, bringing you the New Orleans' newest restaurants and musical talent. As you know, since Katrina, we've had a rough time getting musical talent live in the studio. Once again today, we're going to dig down to our archives and bring you a musician on tape. But we're fortunate to have a brand new restaurant, and we just continue to proliferate. As we said, it's been 10 years, and those restaurants, even with Katrina, just don't stop coming. And just as magazine proliferated right after Katrina and is still growing new restaurants, the Mid-City area has started to blossom. As we've said, we've had a couple. Carrollton Avenue, obviously, on both sides of Canal. And today's restaurant is not on Carrollton, but only a block or two from there, but right in the Mid-City area, and a beautiful place it is. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and let you take a listen. We've got this young lady who was a photographer as well as a songwriter and songstress. And you'll recognize her if you've seen a couple of shows her before because of her magnificent blue guitar. Her name is Miss Nattie, and let's take a listen to see what her first song will be.
All right. First song that I'm going to sing is based on some festival experiences. This is a song about a woman I met at Jazz Fest a few years back. Well, I was standing in the beer line buying a drink when a sharp-looking woman asked me, what do you think? Could I borrow your phone? I need to make a call. I really need to speak with my son, Paul. Well, since we're outside the gospel tent, I thought she was worthy of being hell-bent. She was looking her best, protecting her own. Well, I could tell that she really needed to phone home. So being the kind southern woman I am, well, I obliged a sweet lady. I said, no problem, ma'am. I asked for the number and I dialed it when she grabbed hold of the phone. Boy, she changed her tone. Well, as she spoke, I swigged my beer, but I nearly spit it out after what I was here. The words flying out of that mama's mouth, they could surely be heard all over the South. She cussed him out, every name in the book. She didn't care that folks, they were starting to look. Now that's a true southern lady, refined with manners in the gutter. She's dressed to the nines, and after all of that, she gave the phone to me. She said thanks as I stared incredulously. Having said her piece, she bid goodbye, and then she walked off with her head held high. Now that's a true southern lady, refined with manners in the gutter. She's dressed to the nines. That's a true southern lady, refined with manners in the gutter. She's dressed to the nines.
All right, that was Miss Nattie. Perky little song, very sing-songy, don't you think? But with that blue guitar, who cares? I mean, that really knocks your socks off, don't you think? Well, she'll be back for a couple more songs during the show to finish it off. But let's get to, as we say always, the meat and potatoes, even though there's none meat and potatoes, not too much here at this restaurant. But as we mentioned, this is a great new restaurant, and we're going to find out how long it's been open. I think it's relatively soon. In the Mid-City area on Canal Street. I can say, I think it's only 2 blocks off of Carrollton, and very famous because it's right adjacent to the SCHOEN Funeral Home. So everyone knows that magnificent structure. In fact, for years prior to Katrina, we had a wonderful restaurant behind it, the church, and for those who remember it, but we're not going to talk about something in the past. Let's introduce instead the general manager of Echo Cafe, and her name is Monica RAMSEY. Monica, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're certainly welcome.
Let me just say it's Eco Cafe.
Oh, okay. Is that like tomato and tomato?
Tomato. That's what I just wrote it out. Hey, I had to bring it up.
No problem. Well, correct me all during the show.
No, I was just giving you a hard time because, I had to say, well, he's going to say that, and I'm like, okay, here it is.
Well, it's such a catchy, title, and what's so good about it, though, is it's not just a catchy title. You have some serious mission statements about it, not only the food, and we'll talk about it, but let's first of all tell the details of its exact location. What is its address on St. Charles?
It's No, not St. Charles. It's Canal Street. 3903 Canal Street. It's a beautiful red building. You can see it.
We're going to see some pictures, of course.
Oh, great.
There's a big sign
yes,
so you can recognize. Mm-hmm. And what's good about it, I know this was a beautiful old home. There we go. And it sat, of course, it had some destruction, I would think, during Katrina, water, and sat vacant for years.
Correct.
So tell us your story, how you eyed it up and decided, hey, that's the place for me.
Well, a dream for me was to put a cafe, a real French, Spanish, where you can have coffee, delicious coffee, and at the same time have some food, some panini, some salad, something light. Mm-hmm. So this is something, like I said, that I've been dreaming, and with the environment, in an environmental way. The building was an opportunity for me to help to bring back New Orleans. When I found it and I noticed that the building was just going down and down the hill, I said, this is it, and I'm going to renovate it as environmental friendly as I could, and then also bring that into the inside with the decor. If you walk in, you will see items that, they've been around for 100 years, and just take little steps teaching people or just letting them know that our old piece is not trash, it's just beauty, it's history, and if you take a minute and give it some love and some care, you can bring it back. And a lot of our pieces, you will see that they're very old and they look brand new.
Right. Excuse me for interrupting, but like your front counter when you come in, that's either old doors.
Yeah, old cypress that by code I couldn't use that in the second floor. It's also how can you use it.
Right.
Just like the cypress doors, we had to bring it down because of life safety code for the second floor. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do with these beautiful doors? And I said, okay, let's use it in the decor. The studs, there is a lot of studs of this building that is being used, holding again, in the decor of the location. Now you see the outside, all of that is 75% either recycled, like the green, we had the one with the green umbrella. Mm-hmm. That one was something that pretty much somebody was going to throw it away, and I pick it up, clean it up, spend some time, and it looks brand new. You will never know that thing was going. The other one is a product that you buy 75% out of all recycled materials. Yes.
Really nice. So
iron.
So you see we have outdoor seating. She also has some small tables on the side which face directly to Shane Funeral Home. I don't think we have pictures of that. But tell us about how many people you seat in the front dining room. 50?
Okay, inside I can have seating for 50. Right. We have a small room in the back that pretty soon is going to be available to any type of meetings that you might have. If you have a party of 10 and you want some privacy, that is not something that it is available. We just put in the final touches. Like I said, I use, again, recycle, and I just do not want to go and buy something and put it, brand new. With that said,
okay, now let's take it one step further. So you talked about the actual building, bringing it back to New Orleans and all the stuff there. I know some of your supplies that you use are recyclable, and then of course let's take it all the way to the most important thing that people want to hear, the food. So next thing is supplies. I know you recycle a lot of stuff. Is that correct?
Yes. Let's say we have our soft drinks. After we finish the bottles, we have a location where anybody can just drop off their bottles, which one is plastic. We cannot do glass because we have a local company that comes and recycle our stuff, but we cannot put glass.
Right.
Our milk containers, we look in the way that we don't just throw away things.
Anything that you can recycle,
exactly. Then yes, we don't have a choice. But we reuse. I mean, there are many boxes that we, give it back to our vendors and said, please reuse this. I put it out nicely and reuse it.
Excellent.
Our vendors a lot of them are local. They're items that I cannot buy it local.
Right.
And
So the important thing is you're putting the conscious effort in making the vendors and the public. I mean, we're all starting to slowly get into that mode, but you're just leading the pack in the restaurant. Now, let's take it to the final step. As I said, how do you consider your food eco-friendly or ecologically concerned? Tell us a little bit about that. What do you mean by that, so our audience will get an understanding there?
I just have to say is fresh.
Fresh, okay.
It's funny because take a look of your freezer at home. It might be that little small freezer. We don't have a freezer. That is a freezer. And, when I was rebuilding the location, it's like, okay, where is going to be the location of the freezer? And I'm like, what freezer? We do not, and that is something I have to kind of play with, and it's a lot of work for me because when I buy the products, I have to just buy in a small amounts.
Quantities, right.
Quantities, and, sometimes, and the vendors are being extremely helpful with that because they know I cannot buy,
Well, not only that, they're aware of even the larger, like Matt Murphy with the Ritz-Carlton. He's going to the same thing, using local products,
Correct.
local markets, and especially in your situation, not having a thing, you can't buy weeks and weeks of stuff because you don't have a place to contain it. And I think some of that maybe plays back to, even though it's not ecological, in Central America and Southern America, I know that's standard, is that meals every day you go to the marketplace and buy your fresh things for that day. You don't buy for a week in advance.
Exactly.
You buy that day. So your food is always the healthiest and the freshest.
Correct.
So you're taking a little bit of that background that you have and mixing it with today's conservation and getting a fresh product out.
Correct.
So that's great.
This is like whenever, you discuss during breakfast, what are you having for lunch? I was like, okay, Johnny has to go down the street or, or to the local market.
Okay, so now while we see a few more pictures, let's talk about, more importantly, so we talked about your address. What days are you open? What meals are you open for, et cetera?
I am open 7 days a week.
Okay.
I am still trying to figure out what is going to be my slow day because I do need a little life.
All right.
Well, no, for now we're open 7 days a week. Breakfast from 8 to 11:30, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday we are extending it to 12:30.
All right.
And that is and next week Tuesday mornings we're going to be closed for breakfast.
Okay.
But still we will be open,
But now what
for
about lunch? What about lunch?
Lunch stays open. And
Till
our
what
kitchen
time?
really from 11:30 to 3. Our kitchen closes at 3, and then we stay open for another hour just for people to have coffee.
Yes,
like
a lot of people have late lunch or want a
late
snack.
lunch, and they need a snack or, in a cup
we're
of
hoping
coffee.
we're hoping to do well, that you'll also maybe consider even an early dinner, because a lot of folks getting off 5. Our whole culture has changed so much since Katrina, where in the old days you never thought about going to dinner till maybe 8 o'clock at night or later. But because of that whole culture shift of not having the personnel, there was only one shift, and that was the 5:30, and so that still has. The mindset is still there, even though restaurants are staying open later and later. There's still a large population of folk who want to come right after work.
Correct.
So hopefully later on you'll get right now, folks. So it's not a dinner place; it's breakfast and lunch, as we said, 7 days a week, and just some differences in hours based on the day. Okay. All right, why don't we do this? Important thing now, we whetted the appetite. We need to go ahead and start looking at some of the food items, and we can talk. Don't forget, folks, as usual, if I don't mention it, you're more than welcome to call in. The director will always put up the 2 phone numbers. Those are the same numbers every time. You can ask any question of myself or Monica about her restaurant or anything about the program. So if you're home and you're watching and you have something of interest, please give us a call. Let's go, Monica. Let's see with our first picture now. Again, you don't have a series of appetizers because of the way you structured.
Correct.
So we really have gone in more emphasis to your breakfast items and your lunch items and your dessert items. So let's take a look at and of course, the most important thing in a breakfast item to most Americans is an American-style breakfast plate or platter. And I think we're going to take a look at the first one, which is a standard American style. Let's go around the plate. Tell us, starting with scrambled eggs here, but can someone have other than scrambled eggs?
Oh yes, you can have grits. There's many items.
No, but other types of eggs.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yes, sunny side up. You don't have to have this, but our menu describes it as a scrambled. And then we can do a scrambled.
But don't hesitate. See, I don't eat scrambled eggs, but don't hesitate to have a fried egg.
Sunny, medium, high. We have there. We have white toast. We have wheat.
Okay, so that's the next thing we got. There's some toast.
Then
is that right?
we have our potatoes, which many people is talking about. And they come back and they just say, "May I have your potatoes?" Those happen to be our breakfast potato, which we have 2 styles of breakfast potatoes. I believe
let's talk about that because
that one has I believe is the one that has some onions and some peppers and some some seasoning.
Okay.
We slowly cook, boil at the beginning our potatoes, and then we bring it into the broiler.
Okay.
That is also we have the other type of breakfast potatoes, which only has a little sweet taste that I cannot tell you what it is.
Okay. All right. But I mean,
that is
do they get a chance to ask for the different type of potatoes,
yes,
or you just serve them?
Well,
Okay.
at this point, we have kind of surprised them.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, this is different, but I really like it.
Very good.
Now, later on, you will see our steak fries whenever you get to that
Yeah, well,
area.
let's hold off till we see
yes.
those. But the important thing there is that you do what we call a roasted potato. You call them
Correct.
breakfast potatoes
Correct.
with different type of seasonings.
Correct.
As opposed to hash browns or the old
Yes,
type
we do,
of stuff.
yes,
Now,
correct.
lastly, of course, we have bacon there.
Bacon,
But you do
it's
offer a
smoked.
selection of other meats. Is that correct?
Correct. We
And
have
what
ham.
else do you have?
We have ham. Well, we have the sausage. I do see it there. It's behind the bread.
Okay.
The links.
The links come with it. Okay.
Yes, the links come with it.
You two
links
pork
and
links. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, the ham is a ham steak, or what
It's
is
a
it?
ham.
Okay.
It's a
Slice of ham?
It's a slice
Okay.
ham.
And anything else?
No,
Those are the
that
meats?
is our breakfast
Okay.
Plate.
Great. Well,
Very Americanized.
Exactly.
Later on, we are planning to bring on the weekends only a little Spanish.
So you're gonna do
I am
huevos
from
rancheros?
Ecuador. Pardon me?
Huevos rancheros?
That's a Mexican.
I know, but I mean, everybody's doing huevos. I like
huevos rancheros.
huevos migas. What huevos are you?
migas.
Which ones are you
Well,
planning on
no,
doing?
I want to bring some plantains.
Okay. Well.
We are going to go into plantains.
All right.
We are going to bring some plantains, some cheese. We will let them,
We don't want to go out too far on limb
no,
because
no,
you don't
no, but
have
just-
it.
no,
You taste them
that's-
too
I
much
don't
and they'll
have
be
it. Exactly.
disappointed. All right, let's take a look at another breakfast item. So again, something which is a French bread, a type of bread, but
Yes.
done in today's world of what I call fast food, horrible fast food. But
Correct.
this is much better. It's taking a French croissant and tell
Correct.
us about what we call
That
this.
is, I believe, is the sweet sausage. Sweet sausage, yes, sweet sausage. That is scrambled eggs, cheese,
Mm-hmm.
cheddar cheese, and a nice sweet sausage.
Do you know what type of sausage it is? No.
That will have
Sweet,
that
okay.
is no.
Sweet as opposed to a spicy or
Or
a
the
chorizo.
spicy or the,
So it's not
the
a
grill.
okay.
Yes.
And then you serve those as
With
well
the
with the breakfast
breakfast
potatoes.
exactly.
Okay. So again, a lot of people eat this on the run, which is a shame because it's a wonderful sandwich. So there, if you want some people call it a breakfast sandwich. That's a croissant sandwich
croissant.
with egg and the breakfast. Okay.
Correct.
Now, one more item. I think. Well, let's see. What's the next one we had for
Which one are
breakfast?
those? Are the croissants are the ones that they're selling the most. People want, so many people, they just want to have a quick bite, but they
Right.
want something healthy. Everything is made fresh
Sure,
right
sure.
before we served, and so that.
Yeah, well, again, that's what's good about it is that you can go to the fast food and probably get some kind of imitation of such, but the quality is usually frozen breads
yeah.
and stuff like that.
No frozen
Here
bread
we're
with
talking
us.
Here we're talking about all fresh ingredients, and so whether you're in a rush or whether you can hopefully sit down and enjoy
it because our place is really what you will see is the colors. Everybody, when they come in, they say this is quite relaxing. There's some people that they just come in and have a cup of coffee and relax and said, can we just sit here for a cup of coffee? It's like, please do enjoy it. This is what it was made for
Okay,
you
Monica,
to feel
excuse me
comfortable.
for interrupting, but we do have a caller.
Okay.
Caller, welcome to the show. I'm Bob Bockelman, Monica Ramsey. May we have your name and what area you're calling from? Are you there, caller? Signed off?
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking too long. We lost our caller. Oh, well, maybe they'll... Please call back because we'd love to hear from you. Anyway, moving on. Let's take a look at another sandwich that you call a... Now, people, you've heard of BLTs, but this is not a BLT. This is a BELT, like from something a gentleman wears. And this is a breakfast item. So let's tell us, this is different. It looks a little bit like what we first saw, but it is different. Let's tell the difference, please.
That one has lettuce, tomatoes, again, all fresh as you can see, and it has a fried egg. So, when I was just writing, down the menu, I was like, wait a second, if I just take every single, first letter, it became the belt. And let me tell you, after you finish one of those, you need to lose your belt. That is the way I see it. I mean, after I finished one of those, I was,
So it is bacon, and it's a fried egg instead of scrambled lettuce and tomato on a croissant.
Tomatoes on croissant. And our mayonnaise, which one is herb. Has a little herb.
That was the only thing I know. A person I brought to doesn't eat mayonnaise, and I think.
And that is a choice that we, they.
Well, I think, but I'm saying on the menu, he purposely chose that because it was the only thing that did not say mayonnaise, but that was a mispro, and so it came with mayonnaise, so he couldn't eat the bread. He was very disappointed.
Sorry.
So that's not his fault. And I'm sure, as long as you
that's my fault for not typing everything.
Well, the one thing is always if you have whenever you have something that's peculiar or your own subjective preference, always tell your wait staff because, again, most of these things are prepared to general people's taste.
Correct.
And they don't want to insult you, and they will certainly want you eating the food. So don't hesitate to either send it back, or if you think about it, just say, well, does this include something that that you normally would not prefer to eat?
Please do. We're here, and
Okay.
I would like to please.
All right. So that's the bacon, egg, and lettuce and tomato, the belt. All right. Now, I think there's one more. And the next one, let's see, did we have, I think we're going to move into salad. You don't have soups presently, and that was one of my only disappointments.
At the beginning, yes, we did, and at this point, during the summer, we're trying to make something
Summer's
that is
hard
in the summer. But during up to, the first 2 weeks that we opened, we had a great chicken enchilada soup, and we have a fantastic tomato bisque. But that is something habit that stays with you, and during the summer, it's not something.
Well, again, a lot of people don't eat soup during the summer because of the heat, unless you bring a cold one, and even those like gazpacho or vichyssoise, a lot of people don't like cold soup. So soup during the summer is an iffy thing, but certainly when the fall comes, people are going to love to have a soup.
The tomato bisque, I keep getting people saying, like, do you have it? And I was like, no, I don't, but it will be back.
Well, good, because I definitely will be back for that. All right, now she does have a lovely selection of salads. We wanted to picture one that was really unique or very exclusive compared to some of the other areas that serve salads, and that is a chicken curry salad. Let's take a look at this. Hopefully we'll get a picture of it, Dan, so we can explain it. Okay. Let's see the chicken curry, and we have a dressing. Tell us, first of all, what goes into your chicken curry salad?
Okay, well, that one is...
Because it looks, most people say, oh, that's just potato salad. It's not potato salad, folks, at all.
We slowly cook the chicken with our seasoning.
Okay.
And whenever it's done,
Now, is that boiling the chicken?
Braised.
Okay.
It's braised.
Right, okay.
Now, then what you see, the little circles, those are the grapes. We use red grapes. Walnuts.
Right.
Of course, some curry. And just, we mix it up. Some mayonnaise. It has a little, a small of mayonnaise. But it's really the juice from the grapes and our secret ingredients.
Oh, please don't use it.
Just giving you a hard time.
The important thing, folks, it's cold, so it's not hot.
It is cold.
And one thing, of course, a lot of people think of curries from the Thai food or the Indian food where it's very hot, spicy.
No, it's not.
This is not spicy at all. This is very mild, so don't be afraid to try it. But most importantly, it's set over beautiful mixed greens. And we didn't talk about the dressing on the side, the dipping sauce. What type of sauce is that, please?
That is a sweet champagne sauce.
Okay.
Very, I would not say overwhelming sweet, but it is sweet. It goes really nice with the curry and the fresh organic spring lettuce.
Okay. Now, it is a cream-based sauce.
It is a cream-based.
Okay. Before we lose our caller again, don't want to talk too long. Caller, welcome to the show. Could we have your name and what area you're calling from?
My name's Jihad, and I'm calling from the West Bank, Algiers.
Yes, sir. Welcome. We've been trying to get an Algiers restaurant for years on. I don't know what's wrong over there.
Sir.
What can we help you with?
I want to know where that restaurant located at, because I want to know where that restaurant located at, because I like good food like you, because I go to different kinds of restaurants. I'm getting tired of Radley. I'm getting tired of McDonald's. I want something like with spices and stuff, and I like to go to different restaurants to taste different foods.
Well, that's
where the restaurant located at.
Well, that's the whole nature of our show, and we appreciate that. The only problem from your perspective is it's on the east bank. You live over on the west bank, you said, in Algiers. But if you don't mind taking the ferry or driving over to Crescent City, it's so easy. It's on the most famous street in New Orleans, Canal Street.
Canal Street.
Now, it's not downtown. You got to go all the way down to what's the block, 30? 39? 39 blocks from the river. Right near Counton. You're about 1 or 2 blocks before Counton. And you can't miss it. There's this beautiful Spanish funeral home that takes a whole block before it called the SCHOEN Funeral Home. It's been known for years. Well, it's right next door, and it's magnificent restoration of this old Victorian home, as we said. Does that give you an idea where it is?
Yeah, thank you. If I see the little funeral home, I can't miss it.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate the call, and please give them a try. And when next time you find a good restaurant on the Algiers for me, please give me a call and let me know, because we'd love to put them on, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, we appreciate that call. I'm sorry we missed him on the first go-round. All right, now let's pick up where we left off. So we were just finishing the curry salad. We're actually going to start our entrees. Now, again, folks, we have some great sandwiches, and let's take a look at the first one. The first one is a little bit of a Spanish background that's, again, getting a lot of exposure, and that's the Cuban sandwich. For those who don't know what the Cuban sandwich is, why don't you tell us what it is, Monica, while we take a look?
The Cuban is pork, ham, Swiss cheese, mustard, and that's it.
That's
it's a combination. And pickles. I'm sorry, did I say pickles?
Pickles.
That is, it's a combination of these 4 flavors. The pickles drips, some of those sour, little sour, little sweet, and it makes such a good. It's a panini. Remember, it's a panini.
What is a panini for those who don't know?
Panini is a press sandwich.
Right.
And either it can be.
What bread are you using? Do you know?
That one is the French.
French bread. Okay,
so French bread, freshly made. Again.
Okay, what she's talking about, folks, is. And that's the key to, even though paninis have gotten very popular because of Italian restaurants and coffee shops, but a Cuban sandwich has been around way before paninis were here in the city. And the key there is the pressing, or taking like a waffle iron, if you want to call it, if you can think of that, without the squares, and grilling it together. So it's like grilling it at the same time both times. So pressing it down tight, so the bread compresses and certainly fuses the cheese and the meat together. And what's very standard with a Cuban sandwich is mustard. So, like, some people don't like mustard, and they don't know that. They think they can get ketchup and mayonnaise, stuff like that. Put it. You can do that, but please make sure you understand. If you don't like mustard, that is the key ingredient. A true Cuban sandwich is going to have mustard on the bread.
Correct.
And then she's serving with, which you jumped the gun before, with her homemade fries. Tell us a little bit about those.
The steak fries, which one that is becoming, like I said, a lot of people come in. It's like, may I have the steak fries? An extra order. First of all, I don't know if I could say it's great. We get this very nice.
What type of potatoes do you use? Brown, red, white?
Brown.
Okay, big old bacon potatoes.
Bacon potatoes.
Slicing
Idaho.
Idaho is fine. Slicing them, and then you.
We boil half of the way with some spices, just salt, and later on we bring it into the broiler.
Okay.
So excellent. Sometimes that's the issue, that our paninis are coming out and our potatoes are still cooking, but whenever
sometimes
you take a bite,
jingle it too.
Exactly. So that is something I still,
Now, do they come pre-salted and peppered or no?
Very lightly.
Okay.
Very lightly. They do have. We put some parsley right before we serve. With just some salt and pepper, but what you see, the greenish, is parsley.
Okay, now let's take a look at another one of the sandwiches, and I believe this is the one of my favorite, the braised barbecue beef. Let's see if that's a po' boy. Let's see if that's the one we have. Yes. Oh, I love that one. And coleslaw, my favorite. Tell us about this one, please.
Well, that one is really I would say it's just the typical barbecue. We make our own barbecue sauce. That is something that I cannot even tell you how to make it, because our wonderful
Well, the
chefs
key there is, the key is it sweet or not?
Sweet.
Okay.
It is sweet.
That's
it's not the Thai style. It's the sweet barbecue sauce over the over the pork that's being braised for 24 hours.
In an oven.
Okay. And with all the flavors coming out. So that is, how we get the flavor.
And tell us about now your coleslaw, because it is a mayonnaise-based coleslaw, right?
It is. Now, our coleslaw is a little different. A lot of people let it sit overnight or 24 hours. In our case, our sauce is made, and we toast the coleslaw right before we serve it. And it keeps the crispy taste of the coleslaw, and at the same time, it gives it the flavor. It's just not this drippy, overwhelming,
Right.
It's just light.
So when you said, she didn't mean toast, folks, she means tossed. Tossed, mixed together.
Mixed together.
But the key there I wanted to point is the mayonnaise base. Some restaurants, again, and this is one you might want to consider, are moving away from mayonnaise. But this is not a heavy mayonnaise where it's so sweet, so liquidy. But you might want to consider some other alternatives, especially since you're eco-friendly, because today's coleslaw usually has no mayonnaise at all. So why don't you see what of course, it's whatever your customers want. But I know I go for the non-mayonnaise-based coleslaw. I think it's just a super, super taste. Okay, let's look at another one. The standard, she takes the good old-fashioned American cheeseburger. And let's take a look at this one and tell us what we have on here, please.
Again, is the old-fashioned cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger with the tomatoes. Again, what we are doing is taking all items that they've been around and making it fresh. As you can see, the tomatoes are fresh, the bread is fresh, everything.
Are you using hamburger buns on this? What are you using?
No, we use the French. We are back to French bread.
Okay.
French bread. And the cheese, again, in that case, I believe is pepper jack. You have a choice to put mozzarella or cheddar.
Okay.
But standard comes, with cheddar. With cheddar.
Okay, and then again,
the potatoes.
Steak fries.
The steak fries. You even have a choice to, whenever we serve a plate, you have a choice of the potatoes or the coleslaw.
So if someone doesn't eat, like I can't eat fried, that might try tasting.
Correct.
You can have a coleslaw in addition.
Correct.
Instead. Okay,
Correct.
Excellent. All right, now I think, let's see, do we have any more on? The pièce de résistance. Now this is an item, folks, that really I call a brunch item. For those who know what brunch is, to me a brunch is a cross between, it's a breakfast item that is served all the way through standardly through the luncheon hour or during the luncheon hour as opposed to early in the morning. And we all know about jazz brunches that we all go to and so, and that's what basically it is. But it's usually if you'll go to a brunch, you'll see one of two things. You'll see breakfast items and you'll see lunch items. So it's a combination of the two. And this next one, she told me originally she had in the breakfast, but it is a sandwich, and you'll see. So, and it is one of her signature sandwiches. And I'm going to go ahead and let her tell us, what do you call it? The waffles with the
chicken waffle sandwich.
Chicken waffle sandwich.
We had it for breakfast, and pretty much it sat there for breakfast. And people said, "Can we have it during lunch?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess we have to move it to lunch."
So let's take a look at this thing first. First of all, if you know what Belgian waffles are, those are.
That is our Creole.
My mistake.
Shrimp.
We forgot to mention. I apologize for going all to that thing. We forgot to mention that. Monica also does a plate a week. Now, she doesn't do a plat du jour. I mean, she doesn't have a different one every day. She has one a week that she specializes in and changes on a weekly basis. When we were there this week, it was New Orleans standard famous shrimp Creole. So tell us about this beautiful shrimp Creole presentation.
Well, it's the New Orleans red sauce with the shrimp. It's just all, again, prepare fresh. It's just we have a wonderful chef from New Orleans, raised in New Orleans. I mean, she is Sedonia Carter, and she just puts all these things together. She knows the flavors of New Orleans. So whenever I ate it for the first time, I was like, this is New Orleans. And
yes, it definitely is the traditional shrimp Creole with the fresh tomato base, lots of shrimp. Beautifully presented with the white rice in the center and a great toasted baguette. So really good. And hopefully we'll look forward to some of the others. Now let's get to this one here. Go ahead, Mr. Director. Put up what you were showing. This is the item that we're talking about, the sandwich that is half breakfast, half lunch. And it's actually, as we mentioned, a waffle, really two waffles on the top and the bottom to actually make a sandwich. These are Belgian waffles that have powdered sugar on them.
Correct.
And notice they also have the fresh fruit, the strawberry on top.
Correct.
And in the inside. And then these are fried homemade chicken strips.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about it so I won't steal all your thunder.
No, it's just, it has a little touch of honey.
Okay.
So, and some maple. So it's a mixture of those two flavors that gives it that special taste to it. And also the fresh strawberries. I'm tired to keep using the word. I feel redundant saying fresh,
Right.
but that is our logo.
Yeah,
being fresh, green, and friendly. And,
The next picture we'll show, if you'll put it up there, Mr. Director, is the close-up. We turned it around just to focus on the sandwich so you can see it. There you go. Look at the layers. It's almost like a Napoleon
It is.
dessert, if anyone's ever had that, where it's layers on top of layers. So
And it is. I'm sorry.
This will fill all desires. In other words, whether you want a lunch, whether you want a breakfast, it's a combination. So it really is the perfect brunch item. But it's quite filling, and then have the potatoes on top. So you might want to share this with someone. But the important thing is you really got a classic dish that you're not going to find too much anywhere else. So go ahead,
Well, no,
Monica.
it's just. I would say don't feel intimidated. Just go at it. Because when it comes out, people just look at us like, what in the world this person is bringing?
Okay, excellent.
So it's just, but just go at it. Take the stick out. Just, use silverware, whatever you would like to just go at it. And we will not talk about how you eat it.
Yeah, that's probably the toughest decision there is how to eat it, because it's held together by a supersized toothpick.
Correct.
She called it a stick, but it's an oversized monumental toothpick. Once you pull that out, you got to be very careful, because if you pull it out too vigorously, everything is going to move in many directions. So it's kind of a fun deal. I'm sure the kids would love it.
Right.
I had no qualms though about trying to. I said, this sandwich, there's no way I'm going to try and pick up this because I'll lose too much of the ingredients. So I first cut it in half, then kept dissecting it and trying to get all the pieces together with one forkful, but never could. So I'd either have the top waffle with the strawberries and a piece of chicken, or I'd have the bottom waffle. So either way, you got the same information. Very, very good. Now, I want to tell you, because we don't have much more time so we got to go ahead to our musician. But before we do, Monica has a lot more items on the menu. These are just some. Now, again, she doesn't have many plates. She's doing that special. So I know, like you, some people, I'm not a big sandwich, but when I want a sandwich, I want a sandwich. But at the same time, best thing to do is give her a call and check and see what her special is for that week. So if you really have to have a plate item, you'll know whether to go that day or not. And don't forget, we're talking to Monica Ramsey. Just open Echo or Eco Cafe.
Eco Cafe.
3039, is that right?
3903 Canal
3903.
Street. Our phone number is 504-561-6585. You can place your order. We take out.
Okay.
Sometimes we have even cater. We have cater.
No delivery at the present time.
At this point, no delivery, but we have cater 30 people for
Okay, it's 3903 Canal on the corner. I don't know. What's that cross street at it? Scott? South Scott. So it'll be North Scott. And right next to it across is the beautiful Shane Funeral Home. You can't miss it. We're 2 blocks at the most from Carrollton Avenue, right on Canal. And it's beautiful corner thing. As we said, it's great. Indoor and outdoor dining. It's 2 dining rooms. The front dining room is mainly for couples or singles. The second dining room accommodates all size parties. The front has a couple of outdoor tables with umbrellas. The side has a couple of tables with wrought iron tables without umbrellas. So any way you slice it up, right now before it gets too hot, this is the best time to eat outside. So take advantage of it. She's opened 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch. Remember that, folks, breakfast and lunch. So check, don't go. One night I went at 7, and of course she was closed. So right now, just concentrate on breakfast and lunch items, and she has everything to please. Now what we're going to do is we need to go ahead and turn it over to our musician. We're talking about Miss Nattie, and let's see what she's going to do for the second song. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the beverages and desserts that Monica has to offer. Let's take a listen.
Orleans moment. I went to Jazz Fest on Sunday, and I got the shaft when I was at Isaac Hayes. Well, Isaac was great. It wasn't from him. I was feeling kind of sad because of my friend. A long time ago, well, he opened my eyes to Christopher Burkett and some other guys. We became friends as I started to change while I was working my way through a lot of pain. When he came for Jazz Fest, we hung out, but we didn't have a whole lot to talk about. You see, he likes one thing, well, I like the other, but still they're connected with one another. But with one phone call, well, he was gone. Yeah, he left me standing there all alone. I was out in the crowd, 50,000, tired of waiting on Isaac to come on down. So I made my way to the next stage where the Neville Brothers playing, man, they're all the rage. Closing out the fest, the sun going down, well, it's the perfect place to be when you've got sorrows and frowns. Cause when the Nevilles played Amazing Grace, well, I knew that I finally had found my place. And there was me, there was Aaron, there was nobody else, and we were praying to the gods to save ourselves, praying to the gods to save ourselves. What a day it's been. Well, it's been okay, but I lost the close ones, they've all gone away. Well, I'll make it through and I'll be fine, cause they've gone their way, yeah, well, I've gone mine. Cause when the Nevilles played Amazing Grace, well, I knew that I finally had found my place. And there was me, there was Aaron, there was nobody else, and we were praying to the gods to save ourselves, praying to the gods to save ourselves, praying to the gods, just be yourself.
That was Miss Nattie. She's got kind of like a childlike sound, but with adult content. So that's an interesting mix. But the most important thing is she's got that bright blue guitar that makes you forget about everything. Okay, Miss Nattie will be bound for one more song to close out the show. But once again, as we said right before we took the break, we're here with the general manager, Monica Ramsey, of the brand new Echo Cafe, 3903 Canal Street on the corner of North Scott, directly across the street from the magnificent Shane Funeral Home. That is, we didn't ask, how long have you been open? I usually ask that
A
up front.
month.
A month. So
we're freshly open a month.
we
April
love
6th.
that. We love that. We love to come in early, as you know, folks. That way, most of you all haven't had a chance to try some of these restaurants, and this way, this will give you inducement to get out there and see what great variety we have in the city. As we mentioned, she's got ecology in mind, what from the restoration of the building to recycling her services and products that she used, as well as using the freshest ingredients by making sure she didn't even put a freezer in. So you know that's important. Of course, the only problem is if she runs out something at the middle of the day, then you might have to find someplace else to eat or find something else on the menu. I'm sure that'll be better.
I was going to say.
She's open for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. And some items she's adding, always looking at new things that she wants to put on. Now, we want to talk a little bit about the beverages and the show you a picture of a couple of desserts. Beverages, right now, she's in the process, I understand, of getting a liquor license. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Within a month, we should be able to have our liquor license, and then we're planning to open Friday and Saturday. At this point, we're still playing with the idea Friday and Saturday evening or early dinner, cocktail hour. Remember, we have our fresh juices, so we're playing. We're playing with that.
Right. So that's great. So that's what we're saying. Hopefully, that's going to add to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. The important thing is that you give her a try. Now, as we mentioned. As she mentioned, and unfortunately during that month she's not set up for you to bring any alcohol and with a fee, so just going to have to bear it out. Again, breakfast we don't drink that much other than Bloody Marys, I'm sure, but let's hold off for a month and then you can come get full range of what you need. But instead what she has is a great range of coffees, teas, and as she made juice, she's got a wonderful juice bar there, and I think we got a picture of the one I had. And what's good about the fresh fruit is that you can mix some of the fruits together. I think I thought I had a mango pineapple, but Monica says maybe it wasn't something else. But let's talk about the juices first.
Okay, they're all natural, and we pass it through the juicer right before we serve it to you. You can mix and match. We have apple. Our standard today is apple, pear, orange, carrots. Then we have the seasonal ones like papaya, melon, and whatever, strawberries, mangoes. Okay. And we have a wonderful banana smoothie that it just gives you that little milkshake smoothie type. It's between the two, but the juices are something that people is just getting to know us. Just to have a little carrot juice with orange is just fantastic.
So make sure we don't get confused. It's true smoothie in there. For those that are juices,
that's
do not
juices.
have any
That's
milk.
natural juice, no milk.
When you put smoothies together, you actually are adding milk or ice cream if you want to make it shake. It's not. So the key difference there in a juice is that you avoid that milk content altogether.
Correct.
Now, I'll tell you one that I want you to get from me certainly is watermelon. A watermelon limeade is absolutely heavenly. So, in fact, some people when they try it might want it all year round. It's the most refreshing drink to get a limeade with fresh watermelon. So please consider that.
I would say within the next 2 weeks, we're looking into bringing the watermelon. Already people say, do you have watermelons yet? I was like, no, they're not quite there yet.
Okay, now let's talk about coffee and teas, because you are basically considered a coffee bistro or coffee cafe. So tell us about your lines of different types of coffees people can get there.
Well, we have from the regular medium roast to all the way to the espressos. So and mix and match. We have mochas, iced mochas, white chocolate. Like I said, it's a full cafe. I would say a coffee shop. So it's a mix of the two. We have the coffee shop area, and also we have the restaurant area, and that becomes a cafe.
Yeah, but it's all together.
It all together.
Not like something separate.
No.
Don't confuse them. Never.
No.
Okay, so you have a full line of coffees. What they're trying to get at, not just coffee, plain coffee. You can make mochas, you can make iced coffees, you can make lattes, etc. All right. Now, what about teas? Because a lot of people who don't drink coffee drink teas. So, in addition to the iced standard tea, do you have any flavored iced teas?
Yes. Other than the ice, for the ice, we do have some caffeinated and also some that they don't have caffeine, like the strawberry kiwi or the hibiscus. Now we have mango flavor with that one has caffeine, and then the New Orleans style iced coffee. Okay. Now also we have the infused teas, which when they're organic and pretty much is you order a cup of tea, and we have the English breakfast to the citrus green or the green tea. Well, the word
right. So you have a full line. You have a full line of teas, hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's talk about desserts. We only have a picture of one dessert, but I know you do have a couple. And of course, everybody in New Orleans loves bread pudding. I'm the only one that abstains from that. But let's go ahead and take a look, and you tell us about how different your bread pudding is. We got a couple of shots close up in here. Tell us what we're looking at. What kind of bread pudding is it?
White chocolate bread pudding. Again, our chocolate that we use is organic chocolate, and the sauce that you see is the creamy rum sauce. And so not drinking and driving.
Is that like a whipped cream? What kind of cream is
that? No, it's not. I would say I would not even. I don't know. Maybe you can help me describing it. I
don't eat it, so I don't know.
Oh.
I can't eat. Well, now I can't eat any desserts at all, even over my diabetes. But bread pudding was the only dessert I never ate, so I don't know. I'm just saying, it looks like a whipped cream on top.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not a whipped cream style. It's just it has chocolate, it has rum, and it just melts in your mouth whenever.
We have a little close-up if we want to take a look at that for people to see it from the side. I think, Mr. Director, you want to show that for us, please? Maybe not. There you go. You get a little better look. A little jumpy look. You know, all kinds of looks. All right, there we go. We focus. There you go, folks. You get a better look. So you can see it isn't. Whipped cream would be a lot fluffy. I don't know if it's sour cream, it's milk. But anyway, if you like bread pudding, it's always good now that, you know, over the last 15 years, bread pudding has been infused with so many things and different flavors. So this is an excellent one for you to choose. But in addition to this, what other things do you have for desserts that we didn't picture? Please?
Well, we have almond chocolate brownies, which one, a lot of our items when it comes to dessert, and this is, they're organic. Like right now, I brought you in the carrot cake, which one is just all natural ingredients. Again, it's just all about freshness. There are many different, you know, you can just say, oh, it's a carrot cake. Well, no, it is a difference between having it all with natural ingredients than out of a box that it has preservatives. And that is not what we bring to our table.
Okay, so you said we had the carrot cake that we kind of bring into the studio. What was the brownies? Can you talk about the brownies?
The brownies,
again?
the almond brownie. Which
again, that's homemade from scratch?
That homemade from scratch. I found this wonderful lady that brings it in, and she does all organic pastries. Okay.
Any other ones that we can tempt them with besides that?
The chocolate chip cookies. Those that are bought by 4 or 5 at a time. Just people comes in and grab them, and they're just pure chocolate again. And the flour, organic flour, and just items here and there. We cannot say that we are a certified organic place by any means. No, we're just trying to make little steps for the future. How just give it a better, another choice for healthy eating, and how your body digests food when it doesn't have any chemicals or preservatives.
All right. Well, let me start. First, we want to thank Monica RAMSEY, our general manager for Eco Cafe.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having her today. As she mentioned, she's been open a month, so we're going to do a quick review. 3903 Canal Street on the corner of North Scott, right across from Shane Funeral Home. She's open 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch. You see, she has a nice variety of breakfast, brunch, and lunch items. She also has a full array of coffees, fresh juices, smoothies, and teas. And not in the too distant future, she'll have some alcohol for you. And hopefully she'll also at that point start staying a little later so that on the weekend you can come for dinner as well. As we mentioned, she's got indoor and outdoor seating, 2 dining rooms, holding about 50 altogether, a great couple of umbrellas on front of the building, so that way you can watch the magnificent New Orleans streetcar up and down Carrollton Avenue, or on the side to watch the beautiful quiet lawn of the Shane Funeral Home. She will welcome you, and like I say, they are interested in your patrons, so whenever you have a chance, please give them a try. Now, let me, before we go, let me talk about a couple of things, programming notes. Unfortunately, next week I'll be out of town. So we will be doing a best of, meaning we'll be replaying, going to the vault and picking a restaurant. And I promise you, when we do this, we usually try and pick ones that haven't closed, because, over 10 years, we have a lot of restaurants that have closed. So we try not to bring something back to you that you can't find or is no longer there. So we will bring you something hopefully that you'll find entertaining and that you will certainly want to give them a try as well. The week after, as you know, we dedicate to Artist Revue, and then our new sister show, Real Revue. So be looking for that in the last week of May. We've got some other restaurants coming up for you. Probably Courtyard Grill. We talked about that. It's a brand new, great little place on Magazine that has a wonderful courtyard outside. So now with all this great outdoor seating. There's also the expansion of the Thai restaurant called Suko Thai, S-U-K-O. It's a very popular restaurant in the Marigny of New Orleans that has taken over on Magazine off of Napoleon, the old Savvy Gourmet, which was a restaurant and cooking shop, for those who know, the beautiful renovation post-Katrina of a warehouse, right on Magazine Street. So it's beautiful surroundings, great Thai food. So I think you'll like that. Once again, one other thing I want to tell you about, of course, we have our dining club called The New Deal. And we usually patronize restaurants that have been on our show or will be on our show within the near future. So we have another one of those events coming up, and that is going to be, in fact, next week on March 19th, right when I come back out of town. It's going to be at the Pan-Asian restaurant called Hoshun, Hoshun. We had it on several years ago. What's great about this restaurant is that oftentimes we favor one Asian over another. We like Chinese, or we like Japanese, Thai, or Vietnamese. You can get it all at this restaurant, all under one roof. And what we do is put together a great tasting package so you can try different courses from each of the different Asian things. We have a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Vietnamese, and a little bit of Thai. So don't forget, if you'd like to find out more about that, go to our website, and that is www.meetup.com, and then the-new-deal, D-E-A-L. I think we'll put that up. Hopefully we have that in for you, because I know it's a lot to say. If not, send me an email at B-O-B at R-R-E-V-U-E for Restaurant Review, bob at rreview.com, and we'll give you further details on any of our shows, or also any of the dining clubs that we're going to have, what's upcoming. Okay, I think, let's see, do we have more time? Where are we staying on time? I got to ask. It seems like time to go. Okay, folks. Well, we'll be looking for you in the restaurants. Miss Nattie's going to take us out, and we'll see you the last week of May. Take care.
Hello, my name is Nattie. I have a couple of songs for you that I'm going to sing along with my guitar here, Miss Delta Blue. The first song I'm going to sing tells you a little bit about who I am and why I sing what I do. I'm just a simple cowgirl who's living in the city. I'm drinking lots of ponies on a bar stool. I'm writing ditties. The tunes might be simple and the subjects might seem bare. It's the little things that matter to me, and the rest, well, I just don't care. I don't care about gossiping like who slept with who. I don't care about money, I just want to buy some food. All I really care about is living a life that's true. Help make the world a better place, it's the best we all can do. I watch the state of our world on the evening news. Shake my head and I wonder, where's the other views? It's the power of half hour to spread hatred and fear. Tell me a story about a little kind boy, and that's what I'd rather hear. I could write about philosophy or love my life. Write about indigent workers and their plight. The other day a stranger said hey, and he gave me a little smile. It's a little known fact that one kind act could last for 1,000 miles. See, I'm just a simple cowgirl who's living in the city. I'm drinking lots of ponies on a bar stool. I'm writing ditties. The tunes might be simple and the subjects might seem bare. It's the little things that matter to me, and the rest, well, I just don't care. So I'll write about nothing when it means something to me. I even found happiness down at the DMV. All I really care about is living a life that's true. I'll tell you a story that brought me joy. It's the best that I can do. 'Cause I'm just a simple cowgirl who's living in the city. I'm drinking lots of ponies on a bar stool. I'm writing ditties. The tunes might be simple and the subjects might seem bare. It's the little things that matter to me, and the rest, well, I just don't care. Not one bit. I just don't care.